Alright, so this tutorial we're going to cover two things. One is going to be the use of the SAT files and basically extending something from Rhino into Revit and plugging in ready-made wall systems and roof systems into that construct. So there's a couple different ways that we're going to do that, and I'll show you that here in a second. And then we're also going to cover the generation of sort of custom roof planes afterwards. So the first thing I'm going to start with, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create just a assume that we're going to generate a wall structure around a spiral staircase. We'll have a staircase. Imagine a staircase going around this. So I'm going to go ahead and model the interior wall, and I'm just going to go ahead and extrude that curve. And I won't use both sides. And so I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to first off explode this, and I'm just going to, I only need the geometry of the actual surface here to generate the construct that I'm trying to develop here. And so I can go ahead, this is essentially at this point ready to do this. I assume that when you guys are doing this, you actually set the radius, you'll know what you're wanting to do, and you'll see how this works in terms of being really precise about where you want to actually set that geometry. So assuming that we have developed this and we actually want this to come in and also, let's just carve a chunk of this away so we can do part of that, and I'm just going to eyeball this here, and you guys obviously will be much more precise. So I extrude this, and then in this instance I'll go ahead and just do both sides. I'm going to take this and split it with each one of these guys. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start to delete away all the stuff I don't need, and we don't need, oh well, that's the thing we do want. So get rid of that. So now we have this nice sort of spiral element, and you guys can model this out however you want. We only need the surfaces in this instance though. So essentially what we're going to do from here is then we're just going to type export, and you can see that I've been just going through and setting this up. You're going to export this as an SAT file or a SAT file, ACIS. So once you do that, let's go ahead and give it a name. We'll just overwrite this. So we're going to hit OK. Alright, and then so once we've got that, we can go ahead and hop into our Revit interface. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new family. And so I'm going to go ahead and create new family. And from there we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do a generic model for this. So that's going to give us that nice sort of connection to a ground plane. So we can connect this to a level in our actual project file. So from there we go to insert, and we're going to insert that CAD document. And you can see that this is already set up to wherever you guys had saved it. So I'll go ahead and open that file. And now it's going to allow me to set and locate that piece of geometry. And this does a couple of really nice things for us. If we go into our 3D view, you can see that this is all set up really, really nicely, so we can start to generate really nice clean sets of geometries with it. Alright, and so from here essentially we're able to load this into a project. So I'm going to go ahead and, let's see here, do I have an actual project going? I do. So I'll go ahead and just click load into project. And then I can go ahead and place this, and I'm activated on level 1 here, so I'll just go ahead and drop that in. And if I right click, I can cancel out of that. If I hit cancel. Alright, and then I'm going to go into the 3D view for this, and now you can see I'm in my project, but I have the same view here. Now from here what we can do is, if we go wall from face, we can pick up one of our wall systems that we've actually constructed, select the face, and actually embed that into the geometry here. And so that in that way we can create these really nice sort of custom geometries for the interior spaces that we develop without having to really worry about all of the complexity. So you take advantage of some of the things that Rhino does along with some of the things that Revit does for you. Okay, and so that's the first part of this, and so you guys can use that, and you guys can obviously see how you'd have to start to orient this surface in an intelligent way so that geometry can wrap around it in your stairwell, and all of that would have to be modeled, and that's covered elsewhere here. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go actually develop a custom roof plane here. And you used to be able to do this in the exact same way in Revit by just basically developing a SAT file and dumping that in. For whatever reason I was trying that out and I couldn't get the roof by face to actually work and actually generate the roof. It tried to attach it as best it could, but it just didn't work. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to just do it the longhand way, and what you're going to do with that is we're going to create an in-place mass. So we'll go ahead and hit close, and we'll just call this the roof. Now I assume you guys have reference lines and pieces of geometry. You can actually import those from other places. For what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to draw a reference plane, and we'll set that there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just copy that along that axis. So we have now 2 reference planes, so assuming that this roof is going to span across those pieces of geometry. So now if we go into one of these viewports here, we should be able to draw a piece of geometry. If we pick the plane here, we should be able to see these guys. Let's pick that plane. Okay, so what we did is it looks like we did this a little prematurely, so let's undo that, and I'm going to go ahead and we'll just draw some fresh reference planes here. Okay, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a view where we can actually see those. Alright, so then we're going to start to try and draw this cross-section of our roof here. We'll just go to Pick Plane. And this should prompt us, yeah, here it is, each one of these views. So we'll go ahead and open that up, and then we can go ahead and draw a roof profile on that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take this, and we go into our, let's go into plan here. Actually, maybe we'll be able to see it in level 2. There it is. So we can see this now in level 2. And if we copy that and turn off the constrain, we could walk that over to another layer here, and we should be able to select this guy and then pick the host. We'll just pick that plane. Alright, and then when we select this guy, it should say that it's hosted. Alright, and then we can take this and then we'll rotate this into our position here. Now you can see because those are hosted, it's going to actually automatically rotate that. So we can go into our 3D view, and we'll orbit around this, and hold Control to select both of those guys. We're going to create a solid form, and we're going to go ahead and finish that mass. And it's going to come up with an error because this is like infinitely thin, so we can't use it for a bunch of other functions, but it's just letting us know we don't really care about that. And then from there, what we can do is we can go ahead and do a roof by face, and just select that guy. You can set the type of roof. See what happens if we do this. And there you go. So through that methodology, you guys can create those sort of in-place mass structures there. And then you should be able to, if we go into these guys, you can do a little bit of massaging. Alright, and that's it.